Welcome back. You're tuned into Bazaar Morning Call and hope you're having a good morning. Well, to help us out with some fundamental analysis, Prakash Diwan joins us on the show. Hi, Prakash. Good morning. Good to see you in as always. Prakash, I want to ask you about the big number, DMart, your Avenue Supermarts. The stock is down close to 10% in the last 1 month. The margins are under pressure. And Manglam was telling us maybe this could be a start of a structural problem for the company going ahead. Valuations, we know it's not cheap, 70 to 80 times. Give and take everything. The stock opens up lower today. What do you do with it?
Good morning, Nigel. So I think, this is something which was kind of indicated by the management some time back as well. And what it tells us is that this is a new disruption that we've still not kind of fully understood and factored into the numbers. Fortunately, at this point in time, it's restricted to just a few larger cities, the metros. DMart has its ability to expand in a very unique way in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So that could probably offset, the damage that quick commerce is inflicting. But at some point in time, this will also stabilize. But what's good about the numbers, and some of the internals have been quite positive, the product mix has changed. The segmental revenue that they've shown is making a comeback in areas which DMart has a little bit of a stronger presence in. And if that were to deepen, given the festive season and how things could look in a consumption-oriented phase, I believe it probably won't get so much of a damage inflicted. The good news is the management knows the challenge. It's not some surprise that's hit them. And I'm sure they're smart enough to figure out what needs to be done. So I would really not believe it will lose value. But yes, the multiple, you rightly said, it's richly valued. So there could be some come off on the PE multiples that it gets accorded. But given how other retail businesses are getting valued so richly, I don't see why this would be given such treatment which is too subpar, and which means that the price will probably hold comfortably within a band of about 5-10% of where it is.
By the way, guys, did you guys see that on Blinkit, since we're talking about DMart and quick commerce, etc., on Blinkit you could order kurtas.
Oh, now everything is 10 minutes.
I mean, maybe it's happened every year, but I noticed this year. I mean, last couple of years, the 10 minutes, but obviously they're not the entire, but it was a tie-up with, I think, Fab India, but not the entire range, but 10-minute kurtas.
10-minute kurtas, 10-minute phones, everything's 10 minutes.
I think even for Holi, you could get your white T-shirts in 10 minutes.
Oh, you could?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is probably still easier, like a plain white T-shirt. But yeah, it's just evolving and it's for real. The disruption really seems to be here.
Get a lot of other stuffs as well in terms of essentials. I'll tell you that off camera.
Okay. So right now I'm navigating this back to the market. Prakash, hi, morning. We were looking at some of these contract announcements from a lot of infrastructure players, PNC Infra, Ashoka Buildcon. And we had the headlines coming from the Navi Mumbai airport area as well last weekend, right, where the test flights are finally taking off. Not specific to Navi Mumbai, but in general, are you looking at this space? Anything exciting?
Good morning, Survi. So you're right. It's Ashoka Buildcon, PNC Infra. The other day, there were a couple of other names with KEC and all, which also kind of spoke about order book inflow. But then that's never been a problem. If the system starts helping them deliver and realize inventory quickly, when I say quickly, it is within that reasonable time that's specified in most EOIs and most MOUs and most documents that we rely on. I think it could be a very virtuous cycle for some of these infra plays to start looking up, especially the ones that are into areas which need faster execution and a desperation of sorts is there in terms of the demand, which is water management, sewerage. I would believe if you really have to allocate money, all of it ends up percolating down to or percolating up to L&T's benefit. There is no other better mix in terms of products, in terms of segments, sectors, businesses that L&T straddles. So I would still believe at the current valuation is probably one of the most undervalued businesses in the Nifty also. So FIs have gone out. It hasn't had much of an impact because they were very favored by FIs in terms of the ETF holdings. But and that's precisely what I'm saying. Given its lower weightage in the Nifty as compared to some of the other names, you probably don't see much of volatility in that. But at this 3,500 neighborhood, I think L&T probably gives you a very clear 20% kind of an upside for the next 12 months, which is fairly rewarding in terms of the risk that you're taking is so benign. So I would look at that. Of course, the smaller names also could add up, but this is definitely one
You'll
of
go for the biggie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. L&T. So you'll go for the big guys there when we're talking infrastructure. Got it.
Prakash, I don't know if you have any thoughts on Paris. Feel free to share them if you do. But I wanted your thoughts on two other names. One is BSE, which was up sharply on Friday. I think actually ended up 8%. Tentative start on Friday morning, but then ended about 8% higher. So yeah, that one. Go on.
Good morning, Prashant. So, on Paris, I think it's something which is in the right spot in terms of fancy. And the P multiples were 100 plus, tell you very much where the fancy is and why the fancy around this. Defense is a very promising space. Instrumentation, electronics, part of the new warfare, definitely bound to grow. The question is at 4,000 crores odd, whether, you want to do this. And this stock has been extremely volatile and it's driven by news flow. You had a high of 1,400 and, last year you had a low of 600. So you'll have to wait and watch in terms of, where it stabilizes. It's not for the faint-hearted. These are stocks that can do very well. They're lumpy in terms of business growth. So I would take it with a pinch of salt. I think on BSE, Prashant, we spoke about this the day the circular came when NSE chose to take the bank Nifty out and keep only the Nifty as a weekly expiry candidate. We very clearly anticipated that a lot of activity will start shifting to the BSE in terms of small cap penny stocks. And that's exactly what is anticipated. But all of that is now priced in. If you really ask me at this level, does BSE have any major triggers? The answer is really no. So you can only see some profit booking if the market, a day when the market kind of shakes off. I don't think there's any stupendous growth from here on at this point in time till it consolidates or loses some ground and, starts getting slightly better in terms of valuation. So I would anticipate some profit booking on tough days, not really, recommend any buying at this point.